friends, dear hosts, presidents of Izmir Commodity Exchange and Centro Algodonero Nacional and the Hellenic Cotton Association, distinguished Turk Consul of Turkey here in Thessaloniki, dear representative of Winning Cotton, dear representatives of bodies and organizations, dear friends, dear members from all over the world, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the organizing committee, we would like to welcome you to the 8th Mediterranean Cotton Roads organized by the Hellenic Cotton Association, the Izmir Commodity Exchange, and the Centro Algodonero Nacional. We would like to thank you for your presence here. We would also like to warmly thank our sponsors who have supported our effort this year too. As it is well known, Greece is the main cotton country among the EU states because it supplies 80% of cotton cultivated, followed by Spain and Bulgaria. That makes us double proud because 40,000 families work in cotton growing and more than 100,000 people work in this field. Cotton provides added value that reinforces the communities where it is produced. The importance of cotton in our country, in the Mediterranean, is particularly important. The market needs environmentally friendly environments. Using less plastic fiber creates a new field for cotton. This year's conference is dedicated on current developments on the prospects of cotton market, the cotton in the American continent, cotton versus polyester, and the importance of branding. But before moving on to our distinguished guests, I would like to call to the floor Mr. Sultan Gedi, the Consul General of Turkey in Thessaloniki.
Good afternoon. After 2 years break, I'm delighted to once again attend the opening of the 8th Mediterranean Cotton Road event held in Thessaloniki. I would like to express my gratitude to the host, the Greek Cotton Association, the Izmir Commodity Exchange, and the Spanish National Cotton Center for this successful event, and I respectfully greet all participants. Before participating in this event in 2023, I had become aware of the importance of cotton for our bilateral trade and the region through a very different occasion. Following the major earthquake in Turkey, I was delighted to see the importance of the sector and the strong bonds and friendship it has established between business people of the two countries at the event we organized at our Consulate General on May 25th, 2023, as part of the donation by the Greek Cotton Ginners Association and its members. With these feelings and thoughts, I welcome you to beautiful Thessaloniki and wish you productive contacts and new opportunities for cooperation. Thank you very much.
Ευχαριστούμε πολύ, κύριε Γενική.
Thank you, Consul General. It's an honor to have you with us. I would like to call Mrs. Camilla Hubert for her short greeting.
Hello. Γεια σας.
So I'm Camille. I'm a cotton trader from Paris, from Cam Cotton, and I'm here to represent Women in Cotton. Women in Cotton as a member of its committee. Women in Cotton is an ICA initiative, and it was created a few years back to increase gender diversity in the cotton industry. So basically what we do is connecting women together in the cotton industry, giving them a stronger voice, making sure they have some visibility and they're included in all the cotton community. We are organized as an international committee, so member of the ICA, and we also have some sub-regional committees. We have one very active in Brazil, and most recently we've opened Australia, the US, and Pakistan. We're looking at developing a subcommittee in Europe, so if you're interested, please let me know. And more generally, if you're interested in what we do, if you have questions, if you're curious about this initiative, please let me know. Whether you're a man or a woman, I want to make that clear that it's open for everybody. We are looking for support. We're looking for people to be active in the committee, but also a bit less active. We do a lot of different things. We have podcasts, we have video, we organize social media events and live events as well. So there's a lot to do, and that has been done, but there is still a long way to go. So I'm available here during the conference to answer any of your questions, as well as Effie that is here. You all know her, and she's also a member of the committee. So please reach out, and thank you for your attention, and enjoy the show. Thank you.
Ευχαριστούμε πολύ, κύριε.
Thank you very much, Ms. Hubert. And now the president of the Interprofessional Cotton Organization, Mr. Orfanos, to greet the audience.
Αξιότιμοι κυρίες και κύριοι,
Ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues, dear friends of the great family of cotton, it is with great pleasure and honor to welcome you to this event of the 8th Mediterranean Cotton Roads. This is an institution that has been established as a point of reference for the whole of the Mediterranean. Today's event is not just a regular event, but it is here to remind us of the force of collaboration, of the exchange of knowledge, and of our joint efforts to promote cotton as a high-quality product, of a product of extroversion and innovation. Our organization aims at supporting Greek growers, enhancing competitiveness of the Greek cotton, and promoting transparency and value at all stages of the production pipeline. So in this framework, this event is a great platform of exchange of know-how between countries who share the same passion and the same long tradition in cotton. Today, it is clearly very important to showcase the importance of sustainability and responsible production. Through joint efforts and activities and a joint vision, we will be able to ensure a future that will be beneficial to all of us who are active in this field. And with these thoughts, I would like to warmly thank all of you who contributed to the organization of the 8th Mediterranean Cotton Roads. Hopefully this event once again will become a source of inspiration, creativity, and new collaborations. We'd like to thank you all and wish the best of success to our works. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your kind words. The Interprofessional Cotton Organization has always been next to our side to promote cotton. I would like to call to the floor Mr. Spiros Ramamelis, the president of Elgo Dimitra. Dear hosts, dear friends and co-workers, dear guests from abroad that participate today in this event today. Elgo Dimitra is participating in this important conference with a great pleasure. This conference is organized at a time that is considered to be a transition time because cotton is the main industrial product both for the Greek economy and several other economies in the Mediterranean region. This product, cotton, has been threatened extremely by the current environment that has the following characteristics: low prices, new trends of replacing cotton with other materials, environmental measures like the water footprint that affects the end product. All these create an environment within which the cotton production is called to survive. In this sector, Elgo Dimitra can play a very important role because Elgo Dimitra is in fact the tool of the Ministry for Agricultural Development aiming at increasing the added value of Greek agricultural products, especially cotton, can be greatly helped by Elgo Dimitra, both in the production process through its research institutes concerning sustainable production, as the previous speaker mentioned, water saving, measuring water footprint and carbon footprint, reducing the pesticides in the production process. Elgo Dimitra has been running a program especially on that alongside the Interprofessional Cotton Organization. We can also help with the commercial capitalization of the end product through the national organization that measures the quality characteristics of cotton, that differentiate cotton and create different qualities that have a higher value. We also help with the certification of the products in cooperation both with the Interprofessional Cotton Organization and BCI, aiming at agro certification. This certification will be the basis for the labeling and branding of this product. As the previous lady speaker said, this is the final goal of the Interprofessional Cotton Brand Organization. This branding will lead to recognizing the product in the market, higher demand from consumers, therefore sustainability of our sector. We are both willing and capable of participating and helping the cotton sector, both concerning information, raising awareness, and the commerciality and marketability of the product. All the stakeholders are meeting here today so that we will be able to create and have this brainstorming on cotton. So that's why this meeting here is very important. And that's why the conclusions of this meeting will be precious for the future of our sector. Elgodimitra is willing to work together with Hellenic Cotton Association and the Interprofessional Cotton Organization. I will always be an ally to any kind of creative effort. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you very much, sir. Amongst us, there are people who work at the Ministry for Agricultural Development. This shows how important cotton is for the economy of our country. I would like to call to the floor Mr. Prodromos Susujoglu, who is the president of the Hellenic Cotton Association, to make his presentation. And of course, we would like to wish happy anniversary to HCA because it is celebrating its 50th anniversary. We hope it's going to have 50 more happy years. And I hope, Mr. Rusujoglu, that you will have optimistic things to share with us. Good afternoon. Γενική Πρόξενε της Δημοκρατίας της Τουρκίας, αγαπητοί πρόεδροι του Χρηματιστηρίου Εμπορευμάτων της Σμύρνης και του Εθνικού Κέντρου Αλγοδονέρου, αξιότιμοι καλεσμένοι συνεργάτες, κυρίες και κύριοι. Με μεγάλη χαρά και τιμή θα ήθελα να σας καλωσορίσω όλους τους 8ους μεσογειακούς δρόμους βάμβακος που πραγματοποιούνται φέτος στη Θεσσαλονίκη. Η εκδήλωσή μας φέτος συμπίπτει με τα 50 χρόνια του ελληνικού συνδέσμου βάμβακος. 50 χρόνια έχουν περάσει με πολλές χαρές και λύπες.
With several people at the helm of our association, all of them worthy and willing to contribute for the sake of the cotton sector. I want to thank all the previous presidents, one by one, for their contribution to our sector. Without their efforts in the past, our association would not achieve the important role that it has today. Our previous presidents, Mr. George Athanasiadis, Mr. Nikolaos Sousoulioglou, my father, the late Vasilios Papakostas, Mr. Thomas Kafandaris, Mr. Nikolaos Karagiorgos, Mr. Apostolos Dondas, Mr. Vasilios Markou, Mr. Antonios Siarkos. Thank you all. The Mediterranean Cotton Roads have been established now as a yearly event held in the Mediterranean Basin countries, an event that without a doubt is the most important event that takes place in the wider area concerning the cotton sector, with so many companies and leaders participating from all around the globe. I would like warmly to thank the co-organizers of our event, along with the Hellenic Cotton Association, the Izmir Commodity Exchange, and the chairman, Mr. Boulen Tuchak, and the Centro Algodonero Nacional from Spain, and the president, Mr. Joseph Artigas. Without their support, it would be impossible to organize our event. The cooperation among the Mediterranean countries is based mainly on their geographical proximity, the common tradition in the cultivation and processing of cotton, as well as the needs of the regional textile market. Our long-standing cooperation focuses on trade, exchange of know-how, and implementation of joint actions, aiming to better quality, greater competitiveness, and strengthening of business transactions. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to briefly present a review of the last 5 years so that we may clearly understand the present situation in the Mediterranean cotton sector. The COVID era, 5 years ago, resulted in the soaring of the production costs, as well as the corresponding increase in cotton market prices. However, the increase of cotton prices was not accompanied by a substantial increase in the consumption of cotton fabrics. The result, therefore, in the post-COVID era was the continuous decline in cotton prices that we have been experiencing for the last 3 years. Unfortunately, the inflationary pressures have not led to a similar reduction in production costs. So we are now at a point where the financial outcome of the cotton production is marginal or even negative, leading the whole sector to a negative outcome and threatening our viability in the years to come. Over the past 20 years, cotton consumption has remained almost stable. It's around 115 million bales, even though textile fiber consumption in general has increased by 1.5% per year on average. But this increase refers almost exclusively to polyester, while cotton consumption is falling behind. As a result, cotton fibers market share represents only 20% of the global textile fibers market, with polyester in the first place with 60%. But it is important to notice that in the 80s and the 90s, the numbers were opposite. 17 to 20% for polyester and 53 to 58% for cotton. Personally, I firmly believe that the time has come to strengthen the cooperation among our institutions even more and find common solutions. As the ancient Greeks used to say, strength lies in unity. To begin, all the partners from Greece, Turkey, Egypt, Spain, and with the cooperation of the Bremen Bomvol Borse, we decided to apply for a proposal to the European Union titled Sustainable Textiles for the Mediterranean. We are waiting for the project's evaluation. Also, our institutions decided to get involved with the Make the Label Count action, thus addressing the dire need to support the sustainability of natural fibers in the European Union. Altogether, we managed to prevent the European Union from adopting the directive on the product's environmental footprint that favored the use of polyester over cotton as a more environmentally friendly material, which was a huge surprise to all of us, as you can clearly understand. In fact, the study that has been prepared is going to be amended within 2026. So we must all be prepared. We have to defend the obvious, and we must protect, of course, our business interests and rights. Now at national level, cotton cultivation was reduced for the 3rd year in a row in Greece. But the good yields, I believe that will lead to a slightly bigger crop. Specifically for this year in Greece, we calculate about 200,000 hectares of cotton fields and 240 tons of lint. Demand problems continue to harm the sector for another year, despite the continuous fall in cotton market prices. Our association, the Hellenic Cotton Association, works closely with the Hellenic Agriculture Organization, Dimitra, and we keep up with business and international advances. We are waiting for the procurement of the national agro-environmental measure to reduce the carbon footprint by 20%. We support the benchmarking made between the national quality standard Agro 2 and the internationally recognized standard BCI, taking advantage of the equivalence and enlarging our participation. More than that, the Greek ginning companies, in close cooperation with the seed production and marketing companies, we are implementing specialized, dedicated protocols to highlight the quality and the proper environmental practices that accompany our product. Dear friends, bearing in mind the continuous substitution of cotton fabrics by polyester, the low demand for cotton fibers, the low cotton market prices, the high production and processing costs, the international, economical, and geopolitical environment, we come to the undeniable fact that promoting the environmental characteristics, the benefits, and the comparative advantages of natural fibers as cotton is imperative. Together, we should approach the consumers and the big fashion companies in order to make everyone aware of the beneficial use of cotton fibers. I would suggest to address crucial target markets, starting from our own countries, to share responsibilities among us, and to implement a promotional campaign based on a well-defined action plan in order to achieve our goal. We must do it both for ourselves and for our children, because nature knows better. That's why we choose cotton. Today, we are delighted to have the opportunity to follow the local and global cotton news from very remarkable speakers. Moreover, today, we include for the first time the audience's poll. We kindly ask from you to participate with your mobile phones and vote. Once again, I would like to thank you, all of you, for your presence today, wishing a great success to the conference. Thank you once more.
Ευχαριστούμε πολύ.
We'd like to thank the president of Hellenic Cotton Association, Mr. Rosudzoglu, and now the vice chairperson of Izmir Commodity Exchange, Mr. Bülent Uçak, to take the floor.
Sayın Başkonsolosum, Sayın Başkanlar,
General Consul, dear representatives of the media, dear colleagues, dear participants, on behalf of the board of the Izmir Commodity Exchange, I would like to welcome you all to today's event. We welcome you to the 8th Mediterranean Cotton Roads. This is the 8th time that we host this event together with the Hellenic Cotton Association and the Centro Algodonero Nacional. And the Hellenic Cotton Association is our host for this year. Mustafa Kemal, the founder of the Turkish Republic, was born in this very city, and this is a great emotion for us to be here. So, meeting in this city reminds us of our close links between our countries and our peoples. So this meeting is not just an institutional collaboration, it is a symbol of the economic solidarity of our region and of a common vision for development. Cotton, as it was the case in the past, still remains a driving force for Europe. So we need to have joint efforts, exchange of innovation, and this is a strategic responsibility for us all. Dear friends, Turkey has always been one of the main cotton producing countries. Ever since the founding of the Izmir Commodity Exchange up to now, we are at the epicenter of the cotton production activities globally. We're one of the few exchanges where we have spot transactions on cotton. We also play a major role in all parts, from the production to transformation to processing to branding, and we work closely for enhancing transparency in the trade and for the protection of the work and the livelihoods of our growers. So our policy for GMO-free cotton is the proof of respect to quality in our sector. Turkey, together with Greece and Spain, are three of the greatest growers of cotton. And if we consider the volume of production, we remain the greatest producers of GMO-free cotton. And this is a proof of our will to protect ecosystem, growers, and consumers. In Turkey, respecting the European biosecurity regulation, the cotton seeds with the GMO cotton seeds are strictly prohibited, even in our R&D actions. So we have been trying for many years, and GMO-free Turkish cotton was established as a brand from the Turkish Patent Office, and we managed to establish a very strict standard safeguarding traceability of cotton from its plantation to its final transformation. Today, Turkish cotton is greatly acknowledged for its purity, its quality, and its sustainable development. And this is a success that comes as a result of a great spectrum of collaborations between farmers, researchers, scientists, business people. The Aegean cotton, with a long staple and high quality, holds a great position in global markets. Thanks to quality analysis and the efforts for the promotion in our exchange, we continue to promote and showcase the reputation of Turkish cotton worldwide. We also have a laboratory in our exchange named Izladas, which is a consulting company for development. And in March, it has just concluded the certification audits of the DCA Bremen, and is the 12th laboratory worldwide that has been certified with complying to this standard. So, dear friends, cotton is not just an agricultural product for many countries. It is a driving force for economic development. In the textile sector, it is a main raw material. It offers a competitive advantage to exports, and it is a great livelihood for rural areas. And if we consider its historic role in trade, we are greatly responsible for maintaining a sustainable trade in cotton. And this is a strategy that we have to apply, because the efforts of growers need to be combined with fair trade, and this is the only way that cotton industry will, in the long term, be beneficial to all stakeholders. Collaboration in cotton means economic resilience. So we have great challenges, common challenges: climate change, changing trends, green transformation, and of course the logistics change, the supply chains. And this is why it is important that we need to create a more resilient, more sustainable, and more inclusive trading model for cotton. Through this event, we will share knowledge, exchange of views, and wisdom for the future of our sector. So our experience in production and our networks offer us a great advantage, and we need this competitive advantage because we need to protect the value of our cotton, and we need to safeguard as well that we need to safeguard rural development, human health, and all this always in this competition, this rally with synthetic fibers. So on this occasion, I would like to express my gratitude to everyone who shares this vision. First of all, to the Hellenic Cotton Association, which hosts this event, and all stakeholders who strengthen their collaboration with us, all our sponsors, and all participants to this event. I would like to warmly thank you all. I believe that the 8th Mediterranean Cotton Roads will remain a symbol for stability of cotton in our region. And I'm certain that today's event will be fruitful and will be a great inspiration for us all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Uchak. And I would like to call to the floor Mr. Jose Artigas for his presentation. Mr. Artigas is the president of the Centro Algodonero Nacional.
Kalispera. Dear guests, dear colleagues, dear friends, on behalf of the Spanish Cotton Association, known as Centro Algodonero Nacional, and the Spanish cotton sector, it's a great honor for me to welcome you all to this 8th Mediterranean Cotton Roads. Our gathering here today is not only an opportunity to review the current situation of cotton in our respective countries, but also a chance to strengthen the bonds that unite us as professionals committed to the future of this vital sector. Spain may represent a small share of world cotton production, but we are proud of our tradition, of the quality of our fiber, and above all, the collaboration that we continue to build with our international partners. I sincerely thank the Hellenic Cotton Association, the Izmir Commodity Exchange, for their kind invitation and their efforts in organizing this event. I look forward to a fruitful discussion that will take place today and to sharing our common challenges and opportunities. Welcome once again, and I wish you all a very successful meeting. Efaristo.
Αγαπητοί Πρόεδρε, σας ευχαριστώ.
Thank you very much, dear President, for your presentations. Ladies and gentlemen, the bonds among our countries in the cotton sector are integral and will continue existing no matter what the circumstances are. We're very happy that the three bodies, the Hellenic Cotton Association, the Izmir Commodity Exchange, and the Centro Algodonero Nacional are jointly contributing to the promotion of our products in recent years. Thank you very much for that. Please accept a small gift from us as an indication of our gratitude to you. Please come forward.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for being here. As the President mentioned earlier, this year we're introducing a new feature, live audience questions using a QR code. To help everyone get familiar with it, we've prepared a quick icebreaker question. If you scan the QR code on the left, you can start answering the question. So how much would you pay for this 100% EU cotton polo shirt? Under €5 because, oh well, it's Black Friday. Over €100 only if it makes ice prices go up. Or €1 million because it's a collector's item. Sold to ice prices go up. Thank you so much.
Άστο.
Ladies and gentlemen, you can vote, but we can proceed as well. It is my great pleasure and honor today to honor today a man whose contribution has been decisive, contributing substantially to the strengthening of trade relations, the development of new cooperation prospects, and the formation of a stable and reliable framework for producers and entrepreneurs in the sector. With his strategic thinking, his commercial initiatives, and his unparalleled dedication, he contributed to the progress and the extraversion of our sector. A partner and fellow traveler who charted a course of development and contributed the most to the brand awareness of Greek cotton. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome a dear friend, Mr. Hussein Kadi.
Dear Chairman, distinguished guests, esteemed colleagues, it's a great pleasure and honor for me to attend the 8th Mediterranean Cotton Road meetings as an honorary guest. I would like to sincerely thank the Hellenic Cotton Association for their kind invitation and the excellent organization. My name is Hussein Kadı, and I am the Managing Director of Karmis Textil, a company based in Turkey and specialized in the production of high-quality yarns and sustainable textile solutions. The cotton is not only a raw material, it's part of our culture, history, and economy. For centuries, the Mediterranean region has been a strategic hub for cotton production and trade. Today, we gather here to discuss how to carry this valuable heritage into the future and advance the industry with quality and innovation. The textile and cotton industries currently face major challenges: climate change, decreasing water resources, and rising energy costs. Yet, these challenges also provide an opportunity to develop a more efficient, environmentally conscious, innovative, and high-quality production model. In this transformation, cooperation among Mediterranean countries will play a crucial role. We share the same sea, similar climates, and common values. Through collaboration, we can build a stronger, more resilient cotton and yarn product supply chain. Sharing knowledge, technology, and experience, and establishing common sustainability standards will help us move forward together. At Karmis Textil, we place quality and innovation at the center of our work, and we are committed to environmentally responsible production that contributes to the advancements of the sector. Our goal is not only to produce, but also to represent the Mediterranean's cotton and yarn on the global stage as sustainable and high-quality product. Dear participants, cotton and yarn are a common language that unites us all. Let us continue to speak this language through cooperation, respect, and shared vision for the future. Thank you very much.
Κυρίες και κύριοι,
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure that everyone here in this venue, especially those of you who participate in our events every year, you will have realized that things are starting changing in this cotton sector, in Greece, in the Mediterranean, in Europe, throughout the world. And we're sure that we're getting better, each of us in their role in the chain, in the cotton chain. And today we're very lucky because we will hear what is the current situation in our sector, and because they will focus on the cotton sector, especially in the Mediterranean region. So let us move to our neighbor country and invite Mr. Seref Yuyara, who is a board member of Izmir Commodity Exchange.
Sayın Başkonsolosum, Sayın Ticaret Ateşen, Sayın Başkanlarım, Sayın katılımcılar, sizlere şahsım ve İzmir Ticaret
Dear participants, I would like to greet you. Good evening. We are here today in this event, growers and representatives from various stakeholders in the sector of cotton. We've gathered today for the 8th Mediterranean Cotton Roads. Cotton is a shared element for all our countries. A driving force for the economies of our countries, and cotton is a product which gives various byproducts in other sectors as well. A product that can be a raw material for other products, and in the Aegean region of Turkey, the cotton sector is diachronically of great importance. But lately, we've been facing great challenges in the cotton sector. First of all, the effect of climate change on costs that have been soaring for many years now. Turkey has a long tradition in the cotton production, and it also has a high quality product and still remains one of the main centers for cotton throughout the world. Exports in Turkey of 1.5 million tons, $30 billion of textile and apparel exports. We hold one of the first positions worldwide. And with regard to we are quite self-sufficient with regard to cotton. We can cover the domestic needs without having to import cotton. And we have all the necessary know-how and technology. And in this way, we're also able to direct and guide global developments in the cotton sector. But after the pandemic, things have changed. Exports have dropped quite significantly, and in 2023 we had this huge earthquake that created a great number of problems. But last year things got improved a bit. In 2022, our exports amounted to $33 billion. In 2024, $30 billion, and this is quite optimistic. Inflation in Turkey and cost increases and some economic hurdles posed great challenges to the cotton sector, because let me here point out that there's been a 100% increase in production cost. According to the Izmir exchange, the cotton price was $1.6, whereas now it has dropped to 1.5 per kilo. But of course, there are other challenges for that reduce the profit for growers, like the water footprint, for example, and water scarcity. However, cotton growers continue to prefer cotton and are still resilient and do their very best to keep the sector alive. Dear participants, global climate change is a huge problem affecting cotton production, and especially in the recent years, rainfall has dropped, causing great damage in the cotton production. Also, heat waves and droughts also affect cotton production, especially in 2025. This was very evident through the various extreme weather phenomena. And the cotton acreage also reduced, and this number will drop even further in 2026. In our country, we are expecting a drop by 15%, 720,000 tons for Turkey, and in the Aegean region, we're expecting 160,000 tons. But the rainfall that was expected and it never showed up, this will mean that the yield will be even more reduced. So climate change is a problem that affects not just Turkey, but the whole of the Mediterranean basin. And this is why we need to be very attentive with the use of water resources and choose more resilient varieties. In the beginning, in the early 2000, the share of cotton that was used in the apparel industry was around 42%, whereas today it has dropped to 22%. Cotton, however, is an eco-friendly product that is not harmful to human health, whereas polyester and nylon fibers are widely used nowadays, because let us not forget that cotton is not just a financial product, a commodity, but it is an element of sustainability. It's not just a commodity, but it is also a product balancing the whole of the agricultural sector, because if cotton is not widely produced or sufficiently produced, this will also affect other crops as well. This happened in Turkey last year, where the cotton production was reduced, and this meant that tomato and melons and watermelons were left on the fields because the prices for those products dropped as well. In Turkey, cotton is being produced high quality cotton is being produced. It is GMO free. And so our country will continue in the future to be a very important center for cotton. Cotton needs the Mediterranean sun to grow, the efforts of the Mediterranean growers, and it travels all around the world. So our duty is to render this product a global product. And on this occasion, I would like to thank all participants in this event today. Thank you very much.
Ευχαριστούμε πολύ, κύριε Υγιού.
Thank you very much. And now let us move to Egypt, who is the Chairman and Managing Director of Egypt for International Trading, Mr. Amgad El Attal.
I just asked to remove my picture. I think it would worth seeing the slides. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, first I would like to thank the organizing committee for giving me this wonderful chance to speak to my friends and colleagues in my beloved country, Greece. Thank you so much. Today we'll speak about Egypt market update. The presentation will consist of two parts. First part, I'll speak about Egyptian cotton, and the second part, I will speak about the imported cotton to Egypt market. Okay, so first I would like to start with just giving a brief, quick idea about the main varieties of Egyptian cotton. Of course, I will not, because of the limited time, I will not be able to speak about all the varieties, but I'll just focus on the main varieties. The first one is we call Giza 96. This one falls in the ELS extra long staple category, which for the staple ranges 34, 37.8, with an average staple 36.5. GPT 38.6 to 50, average 45, mic 34 to 44. The other one, the Giza 94, this is the main variety that is produced in Egypt, which falls in the long staple variety. It's 33.3 to 35.5 staple, average 34.5, 36.43 GPT 40 average, 3.4 to 5 and 3.6 for the mic. And then the other one that I want to just highlight on, the Giza 95, which is a little bit, which is medium staple. It's 28, 29.5, 29 average, and the range of the strength is 32 to 36 with an average 34, mic 3.8 to 4.5. This, for the Giza 94 and the long staple and the extra long, these varieties are mainly used for the production of the fine counts, 60, 80s, 100s, 120, 140, and finer. For the Giza 95, we have, this variety is used for the, mainly for the toweling industry, for those manufacturers who wants to produce, for some brands, towels produced out of Egyptian cotton. This is just an idea about some of the statistics over the past seasons for the production, export, and consumption. The production and the export and consumption has been fluctuating in the past seasons, and it ranged between, for the production, it was about from 70 to 100,000 tons. Exports about 70 to 100,000 tons as well, and the consumption was between, let's say, 15 to 18,000 tons. These figures varies and changes and fluctuating from one season to another due to different reasons. Like, depending on the prices, the changes from one season to another, and the foreign, the government procedures, like policies. Like, for example, we will see here that for the production, it has reduced this season as compared to the previous seasons, because of there was a government decision last season of export ceiling, and at the same time the payment, the government was late in paying to the farmers. So this had an effect on the production, on the acreage, and the same thing for the export. There was a reduction drop because last season the government, as I just mentioned, they set an export ceiling policy to make sure that there will be enough supply for the local market, and that's why the figure has dropped. In regard to the consumption, as I mentioned, that it ranges between 15 to 20,000 tons. However, there is a new investment by the government, and according to this new investment, it's expected, they are expected, if the new unit runs full capacity, that this new unit will consume 40 to 60,000 tons of Egyptian cotton. That's in addition to the 15 to 18,000 tons that is currently consumed in the local market. And this is in case, again, the 40 to 60,000 tons, that's provided that the new unit will run full capacity, and that's based on the study that was made by an international consulting firm. The challenges that would face this new government unit is that this will depend a lot on the quality that will be produced as per the client's international standards, and will depend, of course, on the marketing strategy against competition, because this segment of fine quality production was produced a lot in markets like India and China. As I will mention later, the main market buying Egyptian cotton is India by far. So India and some markets, China, and before some time back Turkey as well, was using the fine count Egyptian cotton, and it was used for the production of sheetings, shirtings in the home textiles and shirtings for the markets like US and Europe. So these markets and these countries has been in the this segment of fine production for years. So definitely it will be one of the challenges that will face this new government project. Okay, the two investments that has been made by the government. One investment was put on by putting on 4 new jeans that worth about $1 billion. And the purpose of these new jeans is that to have higher production daily rate, to produce cleaner cotton and better grades, and coded bales with HVI bale by bale. The other investment that was made by the government, it's a new textile project for the production of fine spinning and weaving shirtings and shirting and sheetings. The main markets buying and importing Egyptian cotton, by far India comes number 1 and 2 and 3. It is the biggest market importing Egyptian cotton. And then Pakistan, Bangladesh, and it used to be Turkey. And now China started coming back after what happened and the problems that's happening between China and US. Global demand for Egyptian cotton remains a premium choice for high thread count textiles and luxury brands. The trade war that's happening between US, China on one hand, and US and India on the other hand, the tariffs that was imposed by US, particularly on these two countries, definitely has an impact on Egyptian cotton demand. Some positives, some negatives. Positives, as I just mentioned, that China mills started coming back since last season to Egypt and started importing some of the Egyptian cotton long staple varieties. Negatives that, you know, again, as I was just saying, that India is the main market buying Egyptian cotton. So with the tariff and the production that was coming out of Egyptian cotton, which is the sheetings and the shirtings, mainly was going to Europe and mainly to US. So which has put tariff on India. So definitely this has impacted on the demand and the orders that's coming from India. Due to this, again, tariffs from US on India and China, we started receiving some new investments, particularly with China and Turkey, and the government is welcoming new investors who will be interested to invest in the textile sector in Egypt, and particularly to get into some kind of an agreement or joint venture in the new units that they just put on for the spinning and weaving. Due to such new investments, there is expected significant increase in the consumption of. Now we move to the other part, which is the cotton imports in Egypt market. So in Egypt market, we have approved origins only that's allowed to be imported to Egypt market. Egypt is not open for any origin to import from. And this is the origins, approved origins is Greece, Brazil, Turkey, Sudan, USA, only from Memphis and Eastern states, Benin, Burkina Faso, Cote d'Ivoire, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, Syria. Why there is such restrictions? Due to agriculture quarantine requirement as a way of protection Egyptian cotton. The Egyptian agriculture quarantine will not allow the import from any country that would have certain pests, diseases, insects. Particularly, there is a worm called boll weevil. They won't allow the import from any country that would have this kind of worms or certain pests and diseases, protecting Egyptian cotton. Egyptian spinning mills required specs. What are the required specs for the Egyptian spinning mills? In terms of the color grade, staple, GPT, mic. This depends definitely on the yarn counts produced. Big part of the local production in Egypt goes for the count 30 compact. Most of the local mills and the foreign investments in Egypt producing, a lot of them producing 30 compact. For this, they use Greek cotton, Brazil, Turkish, some US and West African cotton. They use 31, 41, especially in such a good season for Greece. So they prefer going for the compact 31, 41s, 41, 42 for the staple 1/1/8. But again, we started seeing some mills interested in 1/5/32. Same thing for Brazil. Mainly the main quality that is exported to Egypt market for the Brazil cotton is middling 37, and it's available a lot and throughout the year. For the GPT, it's the 28 minimum, which is easy, and we saw, of course, this season in particular increase higher than 28, 29, 30, 31, and even 32s sometimes. And same requirement will be from Turkey or the other origins when it goes for the 30 compact. The other segment of yarn production, it's the coarser than 30, or 30 carded, and 24s, 20s, 16s, and open ends. This is produced out of Sudan cotton, or there is a big need for low grade, low specs of the Greek qualities, Brazil, and other origins. The consumption and demand. The current main consumption of imported cotton is taken by the private Egyptian and foreign investment spinning mills, as well as the expected new government investments. The yarn supply for the yarn that is produced by the Egyptian spinning mills mainly goes to the local market and a little bit to the exporting factories in Egypt was producing towels, shirting, sheetings for the export market. As a matter of fact, you know, some of the mills, when we were talking and telling them that, you know, what's the opportunity of exporting their own yarns, they said that first that it's not their the course count production produced is not very competitive as compared to yarns coming from India, China, and some other places, Pakistan. But and at the same time, for them, the local market is enough to cover their capacity. The yarn inputs, this is another factor that's affecting very much the demand on the Egyptian cotton, on the imported cotton to Egypt market, because there is a lot of yarns coming from places, particularly from India and Uzbekistan, and it's affecting definitely the production of the local market of the of yarns, because of course the more volume comes to Egypt, it comes on the account of the import of the raw cotton and vice versa. Here, this table shows the in year 24-25, the volume of yarn exported from India to Egypt. It's about 60,000 tons of yarns. So, so you can tell that the size of Egypt market for the raw cotton is not only the what we mentioned, you know, or what I mentioned now about the total consumption of Egypt market, but in addition to this, we have this, you know, quantity that is coming as yarns from markets like India, Uzbekistan, and other markets. Okay, and now the total imports and market share of various origins. Okay, which is the slide of the day. So here it is. We'll give an idea about how much Egypt is importing annually and the share of each origin that Egypt is importing. This is not an official statistics. This is something based on our personal judgment and interaction as a company with the mills in Egypt. So as you can see, the total, this is the Egypt imported cotton from 1st October up to 31st, 1st October 24 up to 31st October 25. This is just an idea. This was about 212. So I would say that it's now it would be around between 220 and 250,000 tons. The share is here, as you can tell, as you can see, 40% goes to Greece, 37% Brazil, Sudan 6%, Turkey about 11%, and then the rest of the other origins. Of course, you know, this percentage was different 3 years back before getting Brazil origin approved, but now after Brazil has been approved, the market share has increased for Brazil. And I will speak later again a little bit about this. And for Sudan, as I mentioned, it is used as an origin for the open end and course counts. And the market share of Turkey, just to highlight something, this quantity, honestly, it's being consumed by 2 of the mills in Egypt, and one of them is a Turkish mill. Okay, so this total consumption, annual consumption, there is expected, as I mentioned, there will be, due to the new government mill, is planned to reach about 90 to 100,000 tons, the consumption only of the new government mill, if it runs full capacity. So this figure of 90 to 100,000 will be added to this figure right there. Okay, I will speak about the factors affecting. The last thing that I will speak about, the factors affecting the consumption of each origin and the market share. But first, I would like to speak about the payments, because 3 years back, we had a big problem in Egypt with the payments. We had the dollar shortage that was affecting very much the imports of cotton to Egypt. But now, for the past 3 years, we have no issue at all. Dollars available. Spinning mills are importing. Traders, merchants are in Egypt are importing without any issue and promptly and on time. Okay, what are the factors that's affecting the consumption of each origin and the market share? First, regarding the quality. The color grade, of course, we talked about the 30 compact. So for the 30 compact, as I mentioned, the mills prefer going for the higher quality, higher color grade, and higher specs. So for a season like this one for Greece, definitely for them, they like it, and they like the color grade, they like the specs of this season, and definitely this will have a nice and a positive effect. Of the color grade, the staple, as I mentioned, they would like for the compact to go for the 1/532nd. There is not much available in the market, but at least we can, offer them and sell, and there has been some good quantity of Greek cotton that was offered for the 1/532nd. So for this one, as I mentioned, Brazil was offering always middling and the 37 1/532nd. So the more that we would have of this higher quality of the color and the specs of whatever origin is, definitely will take higher market share, whether for the color grade, staple. GPT is, no issue, especially this season for Greece and Brazil, always the 28 GPT minimum is there, and for Greece this season, no issue at all, it's even higher than 28. Mic, a lot of mills would not prefer the mic on the high end, they prefer like medium range mic, but the most important thing, at least for all of them, they would not like to receive shipments with mic of wide variation in mic. In narrow, they would prefer definitely to go for narrow range of mic. Of course, the other factor is the SFI. As we all know, that this was a disadvantage of Brazil cotton, the SFI. But honestly, there has been some also improvement in the SFI in the past period. But this one, we started seeing a little bit of high SFI in some areas here in Greece, but this is not definitely the big advantage. One of the big advantages of Greek origin over the Brazil is the SFI, because we see 5, 6, 7, 8, which is definitely less than the SFI of Brazil. This here I put for the waste, because sometimes some of the spinning mills, they value the waste that is coming out of Greece is more valuable than, and they can pay it at a premium. Homogeneity. Of course, they care much about the homogeneity, and that a lot of mills would prefer to receive their cotton from same area, same place, same gene, bigger quantities. Narrow variation in specs, particularly mic, as I mentioned. The HVIs, a lot of mills more and more, they ask and they prefer receiving HVIs with their shipment, especially this we started seeing it and realizing it, especially after the Brazil cotton got approved, because as you know, it comes by HVI bale by bale. So a lot of spinners now, or let's say several spinners, they prefer to, before concluding any deal, to see the HVIs before taking their decision. But provided that, of course, that this HVI that they will be receiving would be representing the shipments. Price is definitely a key factor that will affect the consumption of each origin and the market share. The prices, and as we all know, differs, of course, from one origin to another. For the Brazil origin, they were offering, it is offered, around maybe 900, 1,000 on. For middling 37, sometimes some sellers are even sometimes more aggressive, and they would offer sometimes 800 on. This is something that is also very challenging, honestly. Brazil and a lot of sellers and a lot of shippers would have this recaps of Brazil of different specs, and this for these kind of recaps, it's offered at a very competitive price. And some of these recaps comes in a good specs. Logistics. This is a big problem and a big disadvantage of Brazil. The logistics, there has been delays, and in the past period, the buyers and the spinners has been experiencing some delays from Brazil. So, and this is something definitely that affected and it falls in general, except some of the delays sometimes from Greece, but in general falls in favor of Greece and the Greek origin, because like that, of course, it's much easier and a lot faster for them. Taking in consideration, in some of the mills in Egypt, they cannot make plans in advance, several months in advance, in order to handle this issue of delays. So they go for hand to mouth. So definitely for them, Greece still and remains the first option, for them. And so as long as this problem is there, of course, it will be definitely a disadvantage in case of Brazil. By that, I conclude my presentation, and thank you so much.
Ευχαριστούμε πάρα πολύ.
Thank you very much, Mr. Attal. Now let us come back to Europe, to Spain. Dear President of Centro Algodonero Nacional, you may take the floor.
Yes.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is truly a pleasure to be here today to share the cotton cultivation in Spain. Cotton is not only a source of livelihood for thousands of families in the southern Spain, but also represents how European agriculture can be modern, sustainable, ethical, and competitive. Today, I will talk to you about how cotton is produced in Spain, what makes it different from other origins, and why it can be considered a reliable partner aligned with European values and with the needs of the global textile industry. Okay. Cotton in Spain is cultivated almost exclusively in Andalusia. This is the south of Spain. Altogether, we are talking between 50,000 to 60,000 hectares per year. Although in recent years, this figure has been closer to 50,000 hectares. About 90% of the crop is irrigated and the 10% is rain-fed. Currently, about 7,000 farmers cultivate cotton in Spain, most of them within the family farms that have been dedicated to this activity for decades. These farms combine tradition with technological innovation. Cotton is part of the rotation system of nearly 6,000 farms. In this way, cotton plays a role not only as a source of income, but also as a stabilizer in crop rotations. The map shows the main producing areas and ginning facilities in Andalusia. It highlights how production is concentrated in specific regions, mostly in the Guadalquivir Valley, where conditions of soil, water availability and tradition favors cotton cultivation. This graph of acreage and production between 2005 and 2025 tells the story of a sector capable of adapting, restructuring when necessary, and resisting adverse climatic and policy conditions. It also shows the ability of the Spanish cotton growers to maintain continuity despite significant external challenges. Maybe can you put it a bit bigger? Yeah. Thank you. Beyond these figures, the defining feature of Spanish cotton is its production model. Since early 2000s, the great majority of Spanish cotton has been cultivated under integrated production, a system regulated by the local government. This model is voluntary, but subject to strict technical supervision. Farmers must keep detailed records, perform field sampling, apply rotational fertilization, optimize irrigation, and minimize pesticide use. Thanks to this system, first, water use has been reduced by more than 30%. The introduction of drip irrigation, humidity sensors, and irrigation scheduling tools have reduced water use per hectare to below 3,500 cubic meter, compared with 5,000 in the past. Also, second, reduced fertilizers by 40%. And third, plant protection treatments reduced by another 40%. Practices such as flood irrigation have been banned. The use of plastics have been eliminated, and chemical substances are only applied when strictly justified. This is a transparent and measurable system compatible with international certifications such as Be Better Cotton. One of the most distinctive features of the Spanish cotton is that it is entirely free of genetically modified organisms. With the EU, the use of genetically modified seeds for cotton is prohibited. This sets Spain apart from most producing countries, where over 90% of the cotton is transgenic. In Spain, farmers continue to work with conventional varieties adapted to local conditions. This is a valued attribute for textile companies seeking non-GMO fibers. Spanish cotton is backed by high standards of certification and traceability. In addition to the integrated production, many cooperatives and operators choose to certify under international standards such as BCI, Better Cotton. These systems guarantee sustainable practices from both environmental and social perspectives. They allow buyers to trace the exact origin of the cotton from the plot to the bale, ensuring full compliance with the EU criteria. Labor conditions in Spain are strictly regulated. Workers have contracts, minimum wage, healthcare covering, and social security. Spanish cotton, therefore, provides verifiable guarantees for brands committed to human rights. Spanish cotton also benefits from its proximity to European textile hubs, especially Portugal, Italy, North Africa, and Turkey. This drastically reduces the transport carbon footprint, allows fast delivery, and favors resilient supply chains. Producing cotton fiber in Andalusia under sustainable production generates a relatively low carbon footprint. It's close to 0.3 kilos of CO2 per kilo. With most emissions linked to fertilizers used in cultivation. Significant reduction potential lies in optimizing fertilizers practices, adopting renewable energy, and improving resource efficiency. Like any agricultural sector, Spanish cotton faces important challenges. Global competition from lower-cost origins, growing regulatory pressure to prove sustainability, the impact of climate change on water availability, and 4, and generational renewal since many farmers are older. An additional challenge comes from competition with synthetic fibers, both in the market and in regulations. The forthcoming EU Green Claims Directive could penalize natural fibers if it fails to capture all relevant environmental indicators. Ensuring fair recognition of cotton's advantages will be essential. It is a must that the consumer levels enable a fair and comprehensive evaluation of the fiber choices, including impacts such as petroleum origin and microplastics pollution. In conclusion, Spanish cotton represents much more than a textile fiber. It is a commitment to sustainability, transparency, environmental protection, and labor rights. Spain does not seek to compete in volume with the largest producers, but to provide quality, traceability, and responsibility. Together with Greece, Spain offers the Mediterranean textile industry a reliable and nearby origin, fully aligned with the values demanded by today's consumers. Thank you very much. Ευχαριστώ.
Τελευταία αλλά όχι ίστατη, η Ελλάδα.
Last but not least is Mr. Konstantinos Dimitriou from Vamvaki Ltd. He is the general manager.
Λοιπόν, first of all, foremost, I want to thank everyone for being here and for traveling here from Greece, from all around Greece, and from all over Europe and the world. It's very honorable one more year that we have you here, and I really appreciate that. I was considering not making a presentation in a sense, like with slides and like saying things that are more or less known in our Mediterranean region, because we kind of trade the cotton here all together. But then at the last moment, I thought, let's do a couple of slides and a couple of notes, and then we talk a little bit about the prospects of Greece and generally the cotton in our region. I mean, you know more or less, the acreage in Greece is around 210 hectares, and we have a production of around 1 million bales every year in the last 3 years. We are expecting this season to be a little bit worse, if not the same like last season, so we will produce around 220,000 tons. Although the acreage was lower, we had better yields this year. So the production has not yet finished, actually, so we cannot be 100% sure how much it's gonna be. As you know, the exports are always, like we export 95% of our cotton. In recent years, probably more, because our spinning industry is also declining, and that's something we will kind of discuss at the end as well. And yeah, so the yields were actually much better this year as well. Probably that's an estimate, but it's better. Like, this is just an estimate that we probably will have a better yield. You all know the trend of our exports. You know how Turkey has been declining in Greek imports, and Egypt has been booming in the last years. Dr. Amgat mentioned 85,000 tons of imported cotton last year, which is probably equal, if not more, than what Turkey imported, which creates the new era of Greek cotton. This is the new era of Greek cotton. It is an era where Greek cotton does not go to Turkey. It goes to another market as well, equally, and it might change even more in the future. Now, this is a funny slide because we kind of see the current situation of the market, but in reality, this is a slide that Mr. Papadogiannis did last year in Izmir, and it is exactly the same outlook of the Greek market. So I just took his slide and I put it here. And if you see that we are estimating that the sales at this specific moment are around 110, 120,000 tons out of the 220,000 tons, that the crop was smaller, and the estimate for next year is also smaller. The smaller crop is supporting the Greek basis at the higher levels. So we have, again, one of the most expensive bases in the world. And unless we see a big move on the futures, it's more likely that the Greek basis will remain strong, if not get stronger. So that is, again, the new era that we live in. It's an era where I can use a slide presented last year at exactly the same period, and exactly the same situation exists today. It's 1 year later, we're just seeing exactly the same situation. And this is challenging, and we have to address it as a market and as a community here. I'm gonna sidestep a little bit that discussion and touch a little bit on the Common Agricultural Law, the CAP, and it was updated for the European countries. It will be updated in 2027, but we had a green light, let's say, for an increase of the support of the subsidy up to 25%. In case the produced acreage drops below the national guarantee area, which is 250,000 acres. And that would take the subsidy per strema from 73 euros, which is today, maybe up to 93 right now. How was it? 91.6. That will come into place in 2027. So for this season, for next season, and the year after, the subsidy remains at 73.3, 73.4, unless we magically increase our acreage over 250,000 hectares, which is probably not going that way, it's going the other way. The reason why I'm mentioning this is because we did have a win with the EU. Greece and Spain actually had this win. But at the same time, we expect the total funding of the subsidies to drop because the EU has announced a lot of cuts in different parts of the economy to fund military. And one of the challenges we have to face as well as a market and as a community and as a Mediterranean region that trades with each other is to find ways to incentivize Europe to keep cotton as a production, to keep importing cotton from the area, because Europe mainly imports cotton from Turkey and Egypt. Lately also a lot from Pakistan and other markets, but we are here and we can really supply Europe with a very high standardized quality product and a lot of, there's a lot of room for improvement if demand comes back, of course. I'm stepping into Basile's turf a little bit as well. So, yeah. I think the key we have to really take is the synergies we need to have in our areas. We have to stop thinking of cotton as a commodity, unfortunately or fortunately. We are seeing, of course, you saw Dr. Amgat discussing so much about Brazilian cotton, and I mean, in Turkey, Brazilian cotton is very big as well, and it's globally dominating all the markets. And Greece cannot really compete the Brazilian cotton in terms of a commodity. So what we have to do is find synergies within our countries. We already do the trade, we already have the relations, we already do all the work, and we just have to refocus a little bit on how to utilize this friendship we have between our countries and create a value proposition for the European market, which is the main target of all of our countries, and become a little more vertical in the way we do business, create the value proposition, create value for the farmers, for the ginners, for the spinners, for the next steps in the value chain up to the apparel, to create actually something niche that we are, like, for example, we all mention, we know that Greek is also GMO free, right? And Josep mentioned it, it was in the presentation of Turkey. That's something we have to, collaborate about. And Egyptian cotton used to be exported in Turkey in very big volumes. Maybe this is something we have to again focus on, because these are the kind of synergies and this is the kind of value we can make in our regions. So on that note, and because I know everyone is very tired and you need a break, I'm kind of finishing up this presentation by saying that we are really happy that we have these big markets, and we really are, like, there is a huge history between Greece and Turkey, and of course Spain is lately an addition as a cotton producing country, but Greece, Egypt and Turkey, they have a very long lasting relationship, and we really have to help each other to really make cotton great again, but the European way. Thank you very much.
Θα θέλαμε να ευχαριστήσουμε όλους.
Would like to thank all speakers of this first session, and we would like to offer them a symbolic gift. Mr. Simbakis, a representative of the Hellenic Cotton Association, Mr. Yuatar, Mr. Elatal, Mr. Artigas, please come to receive this symbolic gift.
Λοιπόν, κλείνοντας την πρώτη ενότητα, γιατί είμαστε και λίγο πίσω.
We're a bit late on our schedule, so we'll have a 10-minute coffee break. Please be back on time to continue with the rest of our work.